Okay, welcome back. All right, so the rules are that you always have to have your fighters assigned for the next 3 time periods. So what's interesting is you can see, well, actually I forgot to return these guys home. So those are both 111. So it has like what happens after 1 time advance, 2 or 3. Don't get caught up with that, because all it's saying is this is just telling you what happens if you did this chart 3 times in a row. It's just summarizing it for you. So I'm tempted to say we can just skip ahead, but I don't think we can. And here's why. I think so 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock are done. So we're now at 10 o'clock. So this moves up to 10 o'clock. And per the rules, we have to have airplanes for the next 3 assigned. And I don't have any raids, so I'm just going to move to 12 o'clock. So we move to 12 o'clock, and then this is going to move up. So we've now advanced 2 time periods, right? So by advancing 2 time periods, the first time period, so we advanced twice before we had to do something special. So by advancing twice, what happens is this is moving off, and then this one moves off, and this one's going to move up and also move off. So basically everything that landed is becoming available. That's the thing to understand. So they are already sorted by sector, so I don't want to mix them up. So you can see that basically we're recharging our planes, but their planes are going to recharge as well. However, as you noticed, they have a lot of light damage planes that aren't going to be back for this round. Also, these guys have a damaged airfield. So the other thing that happens with 12 o'clock, and what I'm doing is I'm skipping this part. So there's a squadron turnaround. That's the time advance. Okay, we did that. There's German fighter turnaround, and that was anything that's on the current clock space. That's these. They're going to go back, and we're going to do that in a second. And then German fighter assignment is raids in the current time segment, skip if already assigned. I think I also have to go the 2 time segments advance too. So I think what that means is I have to assign them to North Weald right now. And then after 1400, I have to assign to Biggin Hill. I think that's what I have to do. So let me just make sure. Obviously, this is one of the new things with Eagle, is us having to do this. German recovery. That's not quite what I was looking for. I think it's more in the beginning, so let me back up a little bit. During step 5 of the daily planning phase, assign raiders to raids in the first time segment in which raids are planned, and the 2 time segments immediately after, 3 total. During step 3 of airfield operations, that's where we are, assign fighters to raids in the current time segment and the next. Okay, that's good, because that means we don't need to do 3 in advance. So that means we can be a little bit tighter with our raids. So current and the next is the rule. And so what that means is we're at 12 o'clock right now. So looking at the board, I have to look at assigned fighters to 12 o'clock and 1400. And I have nobody. And when I do that assignment, I get to use these guys, which just came back. So this is a time-consuming thing to do, but we have two 110s, 109s, another 110, 109, and these are all Luftwaffe 3, which don't do us any good. We can't use Luftwaffe 3 because the rest of our raids today are Luftwaffe 2. So we're coming over to here now, and that's a 109, that's a 110, 110, 109, and 109. So we have some fighters available, but not a lot. But it's no big deal, because now we're moving to 1400, right? And we got another big stack coming. And then when we move to 1600, we get another big stack. And all of these are going to be available. And now we have to do this time frame, 1600, and we also have to do 1800. So we're going to we got all of our fighters back, everything that we can get back. So let me just get everything appropriated here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we just got 9 ME-109s there. That's beautiful. Okay, so now we added all of them in. And don't worry about the bombers. We already assigned our bombers to everything. We now have to assign our fighters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the camera up here, and then I'll reach off camera to grab the fighters. And I think what we did before worked. So with 3 bombers, we know we have to assign 1 on channel patrol. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 3. And then as far as ME-110s are concerned, I have 2 elite ME-110s, and I'm going to add them to this particular raid, because if they end up doing combat to protect the bombers, they're elite, so they don't add as many points as a regular ME-110 would. And then I'm going to put 2 on this one and 2 on this one. And these are close support. Oh, this one, we only have 2 bombers. Let me look at the chart. We still need to do 1. Okay, and then now we're, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to add 4. So A, B, and C, and then another A. So 4 ME-109s are being added to that. A, B, and C. And then another B is being added to this one. And then B, B, and C. So I'm just going to take the second A from that one. And we have A, B, and C. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's going to be 8. But that's all my fighters. I can't dedicate any more fighters, and I can't change the bombers, knowing that I have more room. Now I could reallocate the ME-110s, or I'm okay with this second raid having a less number or lower number, because the idea there is by then they should be depleted of most of their fighters and they won't have much of a response. That's the idea. So let's go ahead and give this a crack. So this one's going to happen, and we will actually advance one more time. So the British planes that land and rearm could potentially come back in after this first battle, but it's highly unlikely that a lot of them are going to come back. And so yeah, let's get it rocking and rolling here. So we're doing North Weld, which is 511. And actually I should put this here and let's roll. A 1 is perfect. The Broken Clouds adds 3, so we're at 4. And then the 2 radar nets is +4, that's 8. So we're sitting on an 8 right now. And that's for all of this. And then how many are in the group? 10. So that's going to be 4 more. That puts them at 12. They're at a sufficient and limited. what's funny is sufficient is so much better for them than it ever was for us. So when we did Lion. So here we go. We have some hunters hunting. This is like a Christmas song, you know. Hunters a hunting. What is it, like the 12 days of Christmas? Hunters a hunting. Bombers a bombing. Channel patrollers patrolling. And a partridge, a butterfield, game in a pear tree. Okay, so we have our hunters a hunting. See, my clock even is singing along. All right, we did that. We got to do rendezvous. I don't care for rendezvous. A 1. Oh, 1 could be bad. This raid is one of 2 or 3 raids from the same Luftwaffe planned for the current time segment. Here's the beauty. It's the only raid for this time segment, so we got lucky. If that would have happened at the next raid, we would have been screwed. So dodged another one there. And now yes, we're going to get our pull going here. So here's what they're grabbing. It's a sufficient, so it's the S, not the E. 511 and 611 are both putting 2 in. 511 has 1. 611, because of the damaged control room, cannot respond. So we just avoided 2 there. 311 and 411 are each putting 2 in. 311 only has 1. 411 does have 2. So those are going in. And that's it. All the other areas only respond if it's an early warning. So that's the difference where that early warning really helps. 4 total. Okay, so target cards. Now we go here. It's definitely 11 group. That's 1. It's an airfield for 3. They have limited intelligence. There, 10. So 2 more for 5. 5. Plus 6 is 11. 11 puts them on low. And we said there was 4 of them, and 2 of them are being removed. This is an interesting chart. I wonder how he came up with this. 2 come out. I'll put these back on the board in a second. I want to hurry up and go to this. We have 10 groups, and there's only 2 left, and it's a no. That's why I said I wanted to look at this real quick, because they're all going back. They're not even responding to this particular raid, which is interesting because this particular raid was going to drain them of some really quality fighters. And so our strategy is sort of working. I was hoping that we were going to drain them so our later raids would be more successful, but this one's going to be successful because they're basically not responding to this one. So it's sort of funny, but I think it's a combination of we did a lot of damage there. See all those planes that are damaged, those would have all responded as well. And we're benefiting from that. Okay, so I made a mistake already. Look at this. That is not ours. That's not available for us to use. So this is Luftwaffe 3. So we had 1 less unit. So we would have been at 9, which would have put them at a late response time. That would have been even worse. They would have only had 2 units total. Yeah, it would have been the same outcome. But it would have been accurate instead of limited. So let's look at accurate. With them having 2 and us having 9, the answer is no. So the outcome's the same, but this would have shifted down 1. I did not, I had accidentally had a Luftwaffe 3 plane in a Luftwaffe 2. So I don't know if I made that mistake in any of these other ones, but no big deal. Outcome's the same. These guys are going to get to help them bomb, strafe the airfield. I'm pretty sure that that is allowed. When strafing radar, city headquarters, or military bases, the 110s half their bombing strength. So they're going to be able to use it. All of these are going back. Now, normally we put them +3 on the time clock. And those of you who played Lion, you already know how this work plays out. But when you add 3 to the time clock, you're going to get to end of day, because there's 1800 and then the day ends. So what you do instead is you put them on your base, but you put them on reduced. Any reduced units are not allowed to participate in a raid. And the only reason you make them reduced is for that, exactly what I just said. If we had more raids we needed to assign planes to, this is so you don't mistakenly assign these planes, because these planes are basically done for the day. And then at the end of the day, they're going to flip over. You're not going to have to pay any points. There's no damage. So that's the thing with a reduced unit. You know, if you're used to D-Day at Omaha Beach, a reduced unit was a big deal. Not here. This doesn't mean anything. What means something for us is when it's in the light loss bucket. That's a problem. Same with the British. Their reduced units only mean that it takes longer for them to get back to the base, but they're going to get back to the base just fine. It's the light loss bucket that hurts them. So we're looking for light and heavy losses in this game, and that's all that matters. The reduced does impact the game, but it doesn't like impact the score or your ability to win. It just maybe makes it take longer for them to respond. So anyways, enough of that. We got to do our bombing, which we're going to get to shift 2 to the right, but the clouds are going to make us to the left again. 4, 8, 12, 14, 16. The ME-110s are adding 2 points each. So we're at 16. I'm going to roll my die now. Higher number would have been better, but a 16 is pretty good. Yep, there we are. A 16 at a 2 is 2 damage. 2 damage is not enough to... you have to get heavy damage to really damage an airport. 2 damage is just subtract 2 VPs. Oh, actually, 2 damage does impact this. But you can see here that nothing is there. However, we do have 1 unit on 511, because that's where I'm attacking. So let's do first thing first. We did 2 damage, so we get 2 victory points. So we're at -7. And then that 2 damage hit the 511 airport, and there was a plane there. So this is one issue with the AI. If it's an airfield, they should have launched. So what this is doing is this is taking a damage, and it's going into the land box. And then this one here is also damaged. As you can see, it's just like before. They're going to lose 2 hurricane points now. So we come over here and we take away 2 hurricane points, because they have to replace their planes that are getting destroyed by us. So that was a good run. Okay, now we're going to advance time 1 more, right? We're going to 1800. So by advancing time, this moves up 1. Nothing else changes for us. These, like I said, are going back reduced. And then these are bombers that are just going to go back and land for tomorrow. So we're now in our final day, or final hour of the day. And they really didn't commit any planes yet. So they have all the planes that are possible available to them. So let's go over here. Make sure I have all of the correct type this time. Look at here, there it is. There's another one, that's Luftwaffe 3. So I only have, I have 1 less fighter for this. Interesting. And then these are our bombers and our 2 escorts. And then our required channel patrol. Okay. So, yeah, I had the same mistake where I had a Luftwaffe 3. I'm looking at the next one. The next one looks good. Okay, let's do their response time. I rolled a 5. See, the thing is we got to destroy their radar. So a 5 plus they get a 3 for their OCV, puts them to 8. And then the radar adds 4, puts them to 12. And then we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, which adds 3 more, and they get a 15, which is the magic number. That blows. Although a 16 would have been even worse. That was a very early. Okay, so, rendezvous. Six, that's the one that needs 15 groups. We don't have 15 groups, so we're good there. And what's next? Oh, we've got to grab our crater pool. So we're attacking 7-11, which is here. It is an airfield attack, and so they're adding 3 to the pool. They only have 1. Then, because it's early, 2-11 and 6-11 are adding 2. 6-11's adding nothing because of this. 2-11 will add there too. And then 1, 3, and 5 are all adding 2. 3 only has 1. 1 has 2. And 5 has nothing. And then 4-11 is going to add 1, and they do have 1 to add. So this is going to be a pretty meaty response from them. And now we got to do the prioritization. I'm going to go ahead and roll the die now. I rolled a 4. Plus 1 is 5. Airfield makes it 7. The intelligence is limited. So we're here for 9. And there's 1 more card coming, so it gets reduced to an 8. And 8 is a high response. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in the cup. 7 in the cup, high response. 2 is being removed from the cup. So we're going to remove 2. And then I'm going to make sure it is a limited response. So we're doing this. We have 7 to 10. They have 5. They're all in. So these 2 go back home. 1-11 and 4-11. So they're all in. So this is going to be quite a battle. They actually have a very good response to this one. One, two. See, this is where we need, like, German had the altitude advantage. That event hit me 3 times in the Lion game. We have yet to hit it. So let's get it right now. Did we do everything? Yes. Yes, we did. I swear to you, I didn't look at the card ahead of time, I promise. There it is, German altitude advantage. There was not a late warning. They have limited intelligence. Reduced squadron in hunt box, no, but it's prior to September 1st. This is the reason why it was going to work for us. So what does this do? This helps us immensely. So let's say that they get us to H, right? H is bad for the Germans. The further down we go in this, the worse it is for the Germans. Because we have altitude advantage, we get to move up 1 whole row. And so we get the better outcome for us. So that was awesome. I was just whining about that. And cha-ching. And I knew it was going to work if we drew it. Okay, so they happen to have these 3 are 3 of these are committing to us. So they have 2 extra, and I rolled a 6. So those 2 extra are actually going to go to the bombers. And I think I get to choose. So I'm going to choose the 2 Hurricanes. It just says excess squadrons. I wonder if there's a priority actually in the game about this. Let's check real quick, just so I don't lead you astray. It says move Hurricane squadrons before moving Spitfire. It flat out says it has to be Hurricanes first. And do not remove the reduced squadrons if there are any. Okay, so that was, I did it right. I actually didn't want the Spitfires because the Spitfires will do more damage up here. So we drew our event, and here you can see it's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 against a group of 3. Okay, I'm going to roll my die first. We want a low number. 2 is fantastic. Okay, so what did we say? It was 11 against 3. So normally we'd go 3 down to 11 and we get row E. Okay, if I rolled a 2, you can see there's light damage to me, there's light damage to them, the B units. But because of our event, we get to bump up to D. And I rolled a 2. And look at this, no damage to us and damage to them. So that event just prevented us from getting damage and kept them in the damage bucket. So A and B are abort, C gets to go into combat with the bombers. So our A and B abort, which this is no big deal. I'm just going to go put them away. And then the C actually gets to move up to here. Now for them, yeah, we're on this one. A aborts light damage and disrupt. Okay, so A, they don't have an A. B is light damage, so we get to do damage to 111 here. So that's another victory point for us. So we're up to -8. And then, unfortunately, both of these were C, so they're disrupted, so they actually get reduced, and they just come in and join the battle. And then our 2 elites here are joining the battle as well. So we got quite the battle there. We're not out of the woods yet. This could still be a problem for us. Eagle, squadron turnaround. So what this means is they're going to advance by 1 time. They really like that, don't they? The only thing that affects is this guy's back in business. So 511 is back in time for the other raid. So that hurts us. That does hurt us. And then this guy is going to be done. Okay, so let's do the combat now. The only good news here is we have 6 units, which is means that they need a lot of points to really get us down on the track. But 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 12, 6 is 18, 8 and 6, 24, 30. So 30 against 6 units. It's still going to be a good chunk. So we go to 30 and we're on row F. Again, lower numbers usually help us. Here you can see there's light losses all across the board. Doesn't matter what we roll. And I think we have A, B's, and C's. So we're taking a light loss no matter what. A 1. Okay, that's probably the best outcome we can get there. And so we said it was F, right? Because it was 630. All right, so for us, we take light damage with A, B is disrupted, C can bomb. See that? The C's can still drop their bombs because they're unaffected. So let's do this. A takes light damage. So our elite unit took damage. That's 1 victory point for them. That's the only one. Okay, so we just lost 1 victory point. The B's get disrupted. So flip over and go over here, and then all the C's get to keep bombing. So these 2 stay for bombing. This guy really doesn't contribute to bombing. Well, actually, he can. He does 1. Interesting. So he actually can contribute. He does 1 damage. Or he'll add 1 to the thing. Now let's do them. So for them, it's A is L, it's LAD. So their A takes the light damage. They have no A's, so they actually got away with this. That stinks. The second one, the B's are aborted, which just means they flip. It's no big deal for them. And then these are disrupted, which means they stay flipped. Oh, hold on, hold on. If they're disrupted and they're already reduced, yeah, if they would have aborted, we actually would have gained a victory point if they would have been aborted. The reduced guys. But that's not the case here. The reduced guys were disrupted, so nothing happened to them. So yeah, the C's, if we would have gotten an abort for C, which would have happened if we would have rolled a 3 or a 4, we would have had a better outcome. In fact, 3 would have been a really nice outcome for us. So it just shows that a 1 doesn't always mean perfect. But anyways, we do get the bomb, and I am quite excited because this is our first of 2 raids, and we're actually going to get the bomb even with it. So here you can see it's 5, 10, 11. We don't get the shift by 2, so that's the big problem here. We do need a big number. 3 is probably not going to cut it. And I'll show you why right here. So we had an 11, but because of the patchy weather, we're going to have to shift 2 this way. So a 3 is just 1 damage to the airfield. The good news is, I mean, you know, down here, the number of squadrons equal to the result are dispersed. So we may still get to do some good damage there. But we gain a victory point for it. Let's do that first. We do 1 damage. This goes up to an 8. We are attacking 7-11. And if you look at 7-11, there's nothing here, but they do have 1 unit here. And that 1 unit is enough for us to do a damage to their hurricane production. So they get reduced by 1. Trust me, folks, this reducing their supply by attacking all these airfields, this is huge. You don't see the benefit of it yet, but you will very soon if you haven't played the Lion game with me and seen how it works there. And our units are going to land. Okay, I got a warning that I am very low on battery, and I'm trying to finish this day. I don't know which is going to win, me finishing in time or the battery just going kaput. So if I abruptly end, it's not because I don't like you. All right. Last day, or last one of the day. I do have my charger. Let me grab this. The only drawback is it doesn't stretch quite far enough. At least I grabbed it, it's now ready, just in case. Okay, so we are combat patrol, close escorts. This is a much smaller group, if I remember. And then JU-87s. Okay, so we got these guys, they're getting ready to go. Let's do the response. Oh, if I ever needed to roll 1, now's the time. Oh, yes. I should go play the lottery today. Okay, that's a 1. The OCV for this one is a 3, so that puts it to a 4. And then 2 radar nests, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're at an 8 right now. And then our total number of groups is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which puts us here at +3. So 8, 9, 10, 11. They do get a sufficient response. So let's do our rendezvous. I rolled a 5. I don't even know what that one does. 13 or more group in the raid. That's not the case. So we can skip that. Let's look at our cup. 7-11 with a sufficient is 4 units from 7-11 or London. Well, London has nothing. 7-11 has nothing. So we put in nothing. 2-11, 6-11, and 3-11 each put in 2. 2-11 has nothing. 6-11 doesn't respond because it's damaged. And then 311 has nothing. So far we've put nothing in the cup. And that's it. They have 0 response. So we don't even need to look up any other tables, folks. This is wonderful. We're gonna just get to cream them. So these guys are gonna support the bombing, join, and then all of these we can just put away. I do need to grab the event. Clouds inhibit hunters. If the region has patchy or broken, all A group in the hunt box. That doesn't hurt us in any way. I mean, it would have if we had to actually do a battle, but we don't. And then let's do the target. Big wing. If more than one squadron from 12 group is attacking, that would be for the British. They don't have anybody, so we get good there. And then here's what's interesting. These are the only bombers involved, so we're going to get a nice little bonus. But let's see here. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 10 points. Let me roll. Oh, crap. We rolled a 1. Oh. 10 points and a 1 is a dash. The no bombers intercepted. So we get to shift 2 columns to the right. So that would put us to here, okay? Dive bombing bonus, we get to shift 2 columns to the right. So we were here, we get to go here, we get to go there, okay? Now, there's a maximum of 3. We can't go more than 3, but we're not done yet. So then the broken clouds removes us by 2. So we go back to here because of the broken clouds. So we actually do get to do 1 damage, which, all things considered, when we were sitting here, that's actually a good outcome. So the good news is we did 1 damage. That gives us a victory point, so we're up to 9. And then on top of that, it's that dang 7-11 airfield. So we hit that plane, and another hurricane goes down. That's sweet. So we got our victory point. We could have done massive points. We could have done some really great things if we just rolled anything other than a 1. The heavy damage was there for the taking. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. The good news is that if our Ju-87s would have been damaged, they would have been out of the game forever. And they're not. So we do get to live for another day. We are at the end of the day. So when you're at the end of the day, we're doing what's called a calendar update phase. So we would resolve night raids, which doesn't happen. We do squadron and group reset. So all that means, and if you've played Lion, you understand, we're taking all of our reduced guys, and they just flip over. They're all available for tomorrow. So bing, 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 and bing. Okay, and the bombers are already ready. Now, that also means that these guys are going to be automatically ready, or anybody that's in rearm and land, they would get ready. So everybody goes back to their starting point. 311 here, 211, 711, and 211. Okay, you don't touch the light damage guys, at least not yet. Okay, so then we do what's called the day advance. So we draw the day card, then we advance the day marker, and the British actually score a victory point for every day that goes by. We draw a day card, which looks like this, and I think I need to shuffle from the last time we played. So let me do that real quick. All right, so I shuffled, and here's the card, and we flip it over, and here you can see 3 days have elapsed. So we go down to this, and we go 1, 2, 3, which means they scored 1, 2, 3 victory points. Okay, that's the first thing. Next thing we do is we have to do the event. So the event here is for Eagle. Enter reinforcement squadron. Oh, I see, I see. Here's the event. Set German target priorities. And for 811 to 820, which is where we're at, what they're saying is RA, which is the radar, is low priority. So we gotta shift some things around here. So the radar was high. Now, so let's take all these off. Radar is now low. Then it's saying that PT is high. Which one's PT? Those would be the ports. Ports high. And then AF would be airfield, I'm guessing, is a high. I don't mind that. I like bombing airfields. And then IN and CL are both low, so we have no mediums. And IN would be industry, and it's not CL, it's CI. So it looks like cities are low. So this means we're not going to have a lot of targets. Because when we draw 10 targets, and it's any of these three, we can only do a minor raid if it's a strategic value of 3, or otherwise there's no raid at all. So that's interesting. These priorities stay this way until we draw another priority card. So this can be brutal. But I think we can do a lot of damage with airfields. The ports are just good victory points. Okay, well, we got to do what we got to do. So the next thing we do is we look at this, and this repair 5 that you see up here is if there's any heavy damage, you would roll a die, and as long as you got less than 5 on your die, the heavy damage gets repaired completely. If you get 5 exactly, the heavy damage turns into light damage. And then if you would have rolled a 6, unfortunately, the heavy damage stays heavy. It doesn't get repaired. That's what that means. There's no heavy damage. The light damage is going to automatically repair as part of this. We just haven't hit that step in the turn yet. So the next thing we do is we update our replacement points, and then we're going to do what this says. Okay? So let me take you over to here so you can see this, and then let's look at the card. So first things first, the Hurricane is going to get 7 points. So this guy is at 5, and it's going to go to 12. Boy, that's a lot. Spitfire is going to get 5, so the 4 goes to 9. The Blenheim is only used for night rules, so we're not using those. The German fighter is going to get 5, so we go up to 16, which is very good. And then the level bomber 4, so we go to 13, which I will be very happy to take. So it means we're going to do good, at least for this first turn. Now, their experienced pilot points is based on the VPs. And right now, the VPs are at -6. So -25 to -10, they get 2 points. So they're up to 10 points. That's how that works. Okay, and then for Eagle, they're entering a reinforcement squadron. So I think what that means is we're drawing from the cup. And I should look it up because it might mean we're grabbing 2. This is obviously new for us. And while I look this up, I'm going to plug you guys in. Okay, so I found the section that says that the reinforcements get added as the day card tells. I would swear to you, I saw a section that said that Group 11 reinforcements are the priority over a 10 or a 12. Like there was, like they want to reinforce this area before they want to reinforce the others. I would swear to you I saw that somewhere. But what I'm seeing here is it just says British reinforcements enter play as indicated on day event cards up until September 7th. And the day event card just says Eagle, enter reinforcement squadron, which makes sense. I mean, I don't have a problem. They gave us this, so we're supposed to pull from the cup. So we'll get a random one that gets added. Here we go. There's a section just for British reinforcements in 14.5, which is after the reinforcement section at 14.0. That was not a brilliant move by whoever wrote this rule book. Here, I'm even going to show you. Oh. 14.5, British reinforcements. 14.0, reinforcements. And it says, British reinforcements enter play as indicated on day event cards. So if you would have read this, you then go, okay, I'll just go draw one. But then on the next page, there's this. In step 8, if the day event card lists a British reinforcement, draw 2. There you go. From all British reinforcement squadrons not yet in play. And then basically they're saying that if you drew an 11, it goes in. If neither or both are 11, select the first one drawn. If one of the two is 11, select that one. And then if okay, yeah. I was remembering something. I'm sorry. Let me explain to you what I'm thinking about. When you're repairing your planes, if you run out of repair points and have to pick which plane you want to repair first, there are similar rules. The group 11 needs to be repaired first, and then it's actually in numerical reverse order. So a 7 is a higher priority to repair than a 6. So you would repair the 7s first, and then the 6s, and then down to the 1s. So sorry, I was wondering why it wasn't here, but that's because it's there. Okay, so you got the gist of the rules. 2 chits, everyone knows the rules. Here we go. This is the first one I drew, which is group 11. So that's the one that's probably going to come. And this one's also group 11, which is interesting because the Spitfires are more desirable, but it says keep the first one. So this was the first one, and it's a 511 group. So that will help them once things happen. Okay, so we took care of the replacement points and the day event and the day card. So that part's resolved. We updated our replacement points, which was this stuff over here. So now we have to do light loss and heavy loss replacement. Nobody took any heavy losses today. The way heavy losses work is you would spend points to move it from heavy down to light. And then that's all the further it moves today. So it just means they have to be repaired twice. But that's not the case. So let's do ourselves first. We're going to do us. So for us, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fighters and 1 bomber. Okay, to repair those, it's as simple as just coming over here, and our fighters are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We used up 5 of our points and 1 of our bomber points. So we're at 12 and 11 respectively. Okay, so that's not bad. Being at 12 and 11 is good. Now, if we were unable to, if we didn't have enough points, we repair anyways, and then this depletion marker that you see here starts to rise. If this gets all the way to the top, then we can't repair anymore. When this rises up, it actually causes problems for us. This depletion level 1 and then depletion level 2 makes the air battles, we we have a significant disadvantage in our air battles, and we're going to start losing more often. So we don't want to run out of replacement points. That's the key. Well, the beauty here is that we repaired everything, and it's not optional. You can't just sit there and say, oh, I'm not going to repair. You got to repair everything. That's part of the game here. So we got our 4 ME-109s back. We got everybody back, and we're still sitting on 10 repair points each. That's the part I'm saying is good. And we get our JU-88 back and the ME-110. Now, if you take damage with your JU-87, it doesn't count. You don't lose points because you can't repair a JU-87. It's just out of the game. So you lose the victory points for it getting killed or hit, and then whether it's light or heavy, it doesn't matter. And then when you're spending these repair points, you don't repair JU-87s, you don't lose repair points. Now here's the part that's fun for us, is they now have to pay. And so what you can see here is there's a Hurricane, 2, 3, 4 Hurricanes just repaired. Okay, so I'm going to put those here because we can put those on the board later. 4 Hurricanes and 2 Spitfires repaired. So I'm going to just put those there. We'll take care of that later. So we come over here, and the 4 Hurricanes are repaired. 1, 2, 3, 4. That puts them down to 8. And then the 2 Spitfires knocks them down to 7. So you would think, after all those airfields that we attacked, I was thinking this would be a lot lower. But the good news is they're a lot lower than we are, right? But we're not over yet. And here's the thing. They just lost 6 points worth of stuff. Their experienced pilots is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes down. 1 point for each repair they had to do. That is only at a 3. If we get this down to a 0, what happens is when they repair their planes come in reduced, and they're basically green pilots. And so they stay reduced until they participate in a battle, and then they finally get experience points to go full side. So if you can start getting a lot of green pilots out here, that's a big deal. And then if they don't have enough of these points, they don't repair at all. They stay broken. Unlike us, we get to repair even if we're out of points. That's not the case for them. So we do want these to go down, and bombing airfields is definitely a trick to get us there. And airfields are now a high priority target for us instead of a medium. So we might be able to do that a lot more, and that might be our strategy for this particular game. So I'm letting the camera charge, and I'm just putting the planes back on the game map here. It's a little off camera. And I keep confusing the 111s with the 711s. All right, so everything's on the board now. They have 1 extra unit here that they didn't have before. And the last thing we do is reinforcements, which would be our reinforcements. We don't get any until August 25th, so nothing happens there. And then a card shuffle check. And that just, if any of your card decks are halfway empty, reshuffle. So one of the first things that happens tomorrow is the light damage does get repaired. So I like to do that now at the end of the day because I just do. So this airfield is repairing. So we're not going to have the luxury of being able to ignore those guys anymore. That will certainly repair as, let's see, that occurs step 7 of tomorrow. One of the other things that's happening, so first thing that would happen is night raid. We skip that because we're not doing night rules. Then we do German strategy draw. So here you can see we're at -6 points. And so we get to draw 3 cards. That's what the left number 3 is. So we're going to get to draw 3 strategy cards. So let's do that. We didn't get to do that last time. 1, 2, 3. And then we would get to, we would select our raids and do our bomber. Yeah, this is actually the stage where there's a lot of work. So we would have to, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's draw these and look at them. Squadrons receive an altitude advantage when attacking this raid in the bomber box. Row of the combat results table, one below the calculated row. Then when bombing, shift 2 columns to the right. So this actually helps the British. It gives them a combat advantage, but if the British can't get to the bomber box, right? Because if we shoot them all down or they don't get involved, we get to shift 2 to the right, and we can ignore clouds. So the low-level raid helps our bombers to really get some good damage, but if any of their fighters get involved, or their squadrons, they get a big advantage. So this is a high-risk, high-reward type of card. Here, we're going to be able to bomb the secondary target instead of the primary. So we can get a little sneaky here if we want, and just look at our secondary cards. Raid eligibility for the target card is determined by the target priority of the primary target. So all that's saying is we can't use the secondary target to determine if we could keep the card. And this one, if the raid consists only of ME-110s assigned to strafe, do not conduct a rendezvous check. Do not count this raid when conducting rendezvous checks for other raids in the same time segment, and subtract 2 from the detection die roll. That's interesting. Would I want to do a raid that's only ME-110s? Maybe. But that's what these strategy cards do for us. I think they're interesting. Like, this might be a really good situational one. This one is definitely an interesting one. And then the secondary target, I think, is valuable. So the other thing we would do is, of course, we draw 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. And remember, ports and airfields are the only things. So we got an airfield. Industry 2 is out. Radar net 1 is out. Ports are in. Airfields are in. For sure. Airfield in. Port in. Airfield. Industry out. Airfield. Okay, so we lost 3 cards. Okay, that was what I was curious about. And then here's the other thing. I see Hornchurch 3 times. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. How awesome is that? So if I did a triple raid against Hornchurch, I think that could be pretty darn good. This one, they intercept us, right? And let's say we damage their planes. Then we come in again and we damage the airfield, which causes them to lose points. And then we come in again and damage the airfield. I like this. And we got to pay attention too, because some of these are different, like the radar nets are different. Okay, so we got 3 Hornchurches. That's extremely interesting. Here, for the rest of these, we actually have 2 111s, a port, and an airfield. So those will be nice to group together. And this is Luftwaffe 3, that's Luftwaffe 2. So we don't even have to use the same set of planes for that one. So those are interesting. And then here, we could actually go, instead of going after Kenley, right, we can go after the radar net and take out number 4. And number 4 radar net is used on this one and that one. Both of them use radar net 4. So that's an interesting idea. If we can go in with this one, but take out the radar net instead of the airfield. It's a cool idea. And then this one over here is just a port way over in 410. It's Luftwaffe 3 instead of 2. This is a perfect situation for attacking with nothing but ME-110s, because Luftwaffe 3 is only in one other card. We only have 2 cards that are Luftwaffe 3, this one and that one. I can use this one to attack with and then like make this one more of a strategic assault, right? So that's what I would do. And I think this is the most interesting part of the game, is trying to sort all this out. So we got 3 horn churches. We got 2 111s. One of them is Luftwaffe 3. And we got this one, which is Luftwaffe 3. And I like the idea of using all ME-110s on that one. And the one thing I got to be careful about is I got to figure out how to, so I can actually do this one later, because I want to do these together. The problem is this is Luftwaffe 2, and these 3 are all Luftwaffe 2. So I can't have these 3 mixed with this one or these. So I think what I would do is these would be like the morning raids, right? I would do these as the morning raids, which is 2 Luftwaffe 3s, 2 Luftwaffe 2s, and then in the afternoon, we do the 3 horn churches. I think that would work. So it is late at night, and I do have to get this thing charged. But I'm going to lay this down for tomorrow. 3 horn churches, and then one of these will be a low-level raid, and I'll make it the 3rd horn church, right? Because chances are that 3rd horn church won't get intercepted. That's what I'm gambling on, right? Then for the high-speed raid and the secondary target, we got both of these 111s, and then we're going to make this 111 the high-speed raid. So I'm going to do that. And then the secondary target is, we're going after radar net 4 more than the airfield. So I'd put the secondary target on that, and then these would be the morning raids. So those are my thoughts for how I would go about this. And it might work. I think this would be a good strategy for tomorrow. And we can play that out and see how it goes. Again, I like the German mode more. And I think it's just because, like people said, the Lion mode goes back to the 1980s. You can tell that this one is a more modern design. So they came up with this later, and it's more sophisticated. That's why I like it. Now, maybe I should try the advanced rules before I keep poo-pooing it. But this one, I'm finding myself to be a lot more engaged. The weird rules where you have to have so many channel patrols, and I'm restricted to only 10 in my raid. Those weird rules, those are tough. So now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm only doing 7 raids, right? So the amount of planes I can have in my raid changes. So I only have 7 raids this time, so now I can do 11 instead of 10. You see how that changes? It's very interesting. So I could throw out some cards and do less raids and then make them, super damaging. I don't know. I'll figure that out some other time. Thank you all for watching, and as always, stay awesome.